Hi, this is mostly a solo machinist guide, but the general knowledge here can be applied with other jobs as well. Just be careful as not all jobs can deal with double auto attack enemies in the same way machinists can. On the first few floors you'll find the Crocs, pulled by side. Pull them with sprint and have room to kite. They have a double auto attack called Crushing Fangs. Keep a pot up and keep running. Be careful pulling them on gloom, HP down or no items floors. The Lindwurm is also pulled by side. It's very harmless, it just does a cone attack. The Archeosaur, or the big crocodile, is another side pull. It's also pretty harmless, it just does a cone attack. Be careful with face tanking him though, because the auto attacks can add up. The Tursus is a side patrol for the early floors. It can be a bit annoying. They do a cone attack and shortly after they apply a slow to you. Try to have a pot running since this can crit. You can chain pull them to take advantage of the diminishing return on the debuff. Wivers are a proximity pull, and same as the Crocs from earlier, sprint and kite. They have a double auto attack called Brow Horn. Keep a pot up and make sure you don't corner yourself. Be careful pulling them on gloom or HP down floors. The Mylodon pulls by sight. It appears at floor 164. Pretty harmless, they do a ranged attack and then they run up and follow it up with a cone. The Vinegaroon is a side patrol starting to appear at 164. They will run up to you and start casting third leg forward. You want to move behind them and bait third leg back. Immediately move back into it to bait it again. They will just repeat this forever. If you fail to bait this, kite them. Their auto attacks actually hurt. The Diplocaulus is another harmless enemy and it pulls by proximity. Interrupt Musin as it will buff itself with Stone Skin. Other than that, it does a gaze attack, but you can look at it as it's actually a frontal cone. The Pteronod is a proximity patrol that starts at 167. Don't let them sneak up on you. They mostly cast this lightning bolt telegraphed AoE, pretty easy to deal with. The Archeosaur pulls by sight and you want to pull them with sprint and then slow them. This is another double attack enemy. These are scarier than the Crocs and the Wivers for some reason. Their double attack is called Underbite and it tends to crit a lot. They also do a point blank AoE. Be very careful pulling these on gloom, no items or HP down floors. I have lost a couple of runs to underestimating them. The Triceratops is another double attack enemy and it pulls by proximity, so you have to kite them. Their double auto is called Butterhorn. Just like the previous mobs, take floor debuffs into consideration before picking a fight with them. For the boss, Strength and Steel are mandatory, but Lusting is optional. This boss takes roughly 5 to 6 minutes without lust. Remember to keep your health pot going. The goal is to kite it around in a circle and keep the douse pulls in roughly the same place. Keeping the boss in the douse pool will give him a bunch of buffs, so by keeping them in the same place-ish, you minimize his buff uptime. He will open with a drench into an Electrogenesis cast. Shortly after, he will use his first douse. After this little opening sequence, this next set of mechanics repeats. He runs up to you and applies a 15-second heavy debuff. You want to wait 5 to 8 seconds and pop sprint. You can safely use sprint when he hits you with a drench. Keep running and you will barely just make it out of the Electrogenesis. Try to bring him back around to the first douse so he can drop the second one next to it. Rinse and repeat. The heavy debuff has a diminishing return, so your sprint will come off cooldown every time the diminishing return resets, as long as you time the first one correctly. Thanks for watching, I hope this helps you out. I'm working on guides for the rest of the floors up to 200. They should be out soon. I'm still working on the format I want to use for these guides, so if there's any feedback, please let me know.